Good morning, everybody. I have no idea what time it is. I'm hoping it's around 10 o'clock. It's been a crazy morning here. Let's see who's gonna sign on. Say hello this morning. Try and see if I can get this. Is anyone coming? I'm outside, obviously. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna just wait a few seconds. It's not showing me anybody, so it's awkward. It is a weird time of year. School is starting. People are busy. I have an eyeball. I don't know who it is. If you are here, say hello. Hey, Tori. I decided it could just be, I might rename this a conversation between Tori and Aurelia because I don't see anybody else watching right now. Hi. It is a very lovely morning here. Oh, I didn't take that into mind. Let me know if you can hear me still. Is it too loud? Should I move? Because I can move. I wanted to be outside, but Lyle was outside. Yes, Tori and I are birthday twins. Lyle was outside in another part of our yard, and so I came to this little section, which is one of my favorite little shady spots. But there's not really a place to sit here, so I brought out one of our camping stools. Anyway, yeah, this morning came outside and it felt so good. It was 67 degrees. I couldn't believe it. Hey, Matt, August is miserable here, and it just felt good. It didn't feel humid, and so I've just wanted to be outside as much as possible because usually it's pretty miserable. So, how are y'all doing? I am not prepared at all. I signed my daughter up for this virtual dance class that was going to be like half dance, half art. It was just like a free test class, and this was the time it was, and I wanted to try it out, and I'm just really flustered now because it was literally from 9 to 10. But it's funny because adults will know on Zoom calls, you know, it's just crazy. There's always some technical difficulty. People are, you know, don't know how to mute themselves. There's all kinds of stuff going on. And so this was a class for like pre-K age, and it was just wild. Like, the teacher kept muting kids, but there were certain kids that like knew how to unmute themselves, and she would mute everyone, and then they would unmute themselves, and then it was like so chaotic. Anyway, I don't think I'm gonna be signing up for it. Hi, Gianna. So I'm taking a breath out here. I'll probably stay out here after I get off. But hi, Lyle. I'm so flustered. Okay, focus. I wanted to talk about friendship and what I'm calling divine reciprocity. And I kind of I jotted down some quick thoughts before the Zoom call for the dance class thing. And now here I am on this side of things, gonna kind of wing it. But I was thinking about navigating friendships. Navigating friendships is always hard. I was thinking about how much harder, or just how different it is in these times of COVID and pandemic and quarantining. And one of the things that I was thinking about was how we have to almost like establish new norms of friendship during this time. So, you know, everyone's on different pages. I mean, everyone's just doing what they need to do for their family and for their unique situation. And then you have your friends, and they're doing what they need to do for their unique situation, and then trying to navigate your relationships and your friendships can be tricky because it just requires more energy. If you want to hang out or don't want to hang out, you have to establish the new norms of how you're going to interact. If you do hang out and you decide to physically meet, you have to establish norms of what each person feels comfortable with social distancing. Do I need to have a mask on if we're 6 feet apart? Or like, can we hang out but we need to stay outside? Like, and it's very awkward and uncomfortable, and it's hard to ask those questions. And it gives me anxiety because I want to be a really hospitable person, but then I have my own boundaries for social distancing. And so, you know, you have to like have these conversations, and they're hard with friends that you aren't as close to, and they're hard with friends that you're intimately close to. So navigating that is a whole other thing. And then that got me thinking about the idea that this pandemic is all revealing things that have just always been true anyway. And I think that it's revealing things that have always been true about friendship. And for me, I think what really, probably the thing that I value most in friendship is reciprocity. It really means a lot to me for there to be a reciprocal relationship in which both parties are giving, both parties are receiving, and of course just contributing to the energy of the friendship. That's always so important to me, and it's also one of the reasons why I have always been terrified to be a mother, because I realize how that is just not a reciprocal relationship, and I always strive for reciprocity. And of course one day maybe when we're adults it could be, but anyway, reciprocity is important to me. And so that's something that is always hard, and that's something that is hard now. And so I kind of wanted to have a reflection about friendship, and you could think about, you know, your own friendships in this time, near or far. Like they're all working now in similar ways for a lot of us, which means people who are near, those dynamics change because you're used to seeing each other, and people who are far, those dynamics change because you can actually connect more deeply in this time, because, you know, it's more normalized to have video chats and to just like keep in touch in that way. I'm like sinking down because of the sun. I feel like I should move. See if this helps. See, does this make it worse? Yeah, it does. Which way should I go? I'm gonna go this way. Okay, so there we go. So, yeah, I'm still sunk down, whatever. Anyway, it got me thinking about divine friendship and about really looking at our relationship with God as a friendship, and how when we do that, it affects our actual friendships in real life, and it changes the nature of our relationship with the divine. So this is something I want you to think about as you go throughout your day. How can you engage with the divine in a relationship, specifically in friendship kind of love? What does that look like for you in engaging with God? So for me, it makes my interaction with the divine feel more personal and more real and more fun and more present. So I think about that song, What a Friend We Have in Jesus. We sing that with Cozy. What a friend we have in Jesus. Why am I blanking on the words? But it's like all our griefs and pains to share. What a privilege it is to carry everything to Christ in prayer. And so I love thinking about that. And it changes how I navigate my relationship with God. And what it does is it reveals to me a call for divine reciprocity. Yes, even our relationship with God requires reciprocity. all our sins and griefs to bear. I said pain, but and so just like any other friendship, the call for reciprocity exists with God. Of course we know that. Of course we know we have to put in energy, we have to put in work. But what I mean is like our actual engaging and our actual like being requires reciprocity. And I'm thinking specifically of John 15, where Christ says, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you." It's like this call for reciprocity. Like, you have to do this on the same level that I'm doing it. You can't half-ass it. Like, you don't get to like say, do less. Like, I'm holding you to the same standard of love as the standard of love that I have. This is the call from Christ. And so we're expected to love on par with the divine love that's given to us. And so I think about this idea of divine friendship, and I think, wow, that changes it, because I'm given this divine love, and then I have to actually give the divine love back, not just to Christ, but to others, and of course, starting with ourselves. And so Aristotle said, a friend is another self. So we start with ourselves, right? Even Jesus said, like, love your neighbor as yourself. The assumption is that you love yourself, right? That you see your imago Dei and you live into that fully. And so we practice divine love to ourselves, and then we give it to others. And this means self-acceptance, but it also means acceptance of others. It means self-forgiveness, but it also means forgiveness of others or toward others. It also means on the macro levels, we practice justice, we practice inclusion. This is like a form of reciprocity, divine reciprocity, because it is on the level of love that is with the greatest commandment that Christ gives us. And also we need Spirit's help to do it, because it's really, really hard. The other thing that it means is that we practice what I'm calling prophetic empathy, okay? So we practice empathy on a micro level with ourselves, with others, on a macro level, and how we look at justice in the world, justice work, liberation work. We practice prophetic empathy. This is empathy that is full of compassion, full of understanding, full of grace, but it doesn't ever enable, it doesn't ever justify harm, and it always challenges a divine level of friendship with the other, one that moves us toward a posture of reciprocity. Does that make sense? Because these are just like random notes that I wrote down. This means friendship becomes radical stuff. The practice of friendship becomes a radical practice. And I love it, because Jesus says, I'm going back to John 15, you are my friend if you do what I command. There's an if in there. There's a call for reciprocity. You are my friend if you do what I command, which is love the way I love, which is a call for reciprocity. It's not enough that I'm loving you. You have to love. And the love that I say to do is a love that calls other people into this divine reciprocity. This idea that you love one another as I have loved you. We return this. We give it. We receive it. We sort of recycle this love over and over and over again. So how can we do all this? We'll just go read all of John 15. We do it by abiding. I need to go back and look at Fran's coffee from yesterday, but I have a feeling that her coffee might help me from yesterday in abiding. The message is always to abide in God, to be plugged in, to be connected. when we're connected, when we're abiding, then we have access to this divine friendship, this divine love, which gives us the ability to reciprocate to God, to ourselves, to others in a way that is sacred, in a way that is spirit-filled, in a way that is reflective of Christ and not just our own selves. And so I have my little call to action. I know I'm like dark because the sun is going through the trees. Anyway, my little call to action today is to just think about your current friendships. I know that friendships are hard right now. There are friendships in my life that have really struggled because of all of this. And there are friendships that have unexpectedly deepened and been a gift because of all of this. But like, take an assessment of the friendships you have, no matter how near or far they are, and really just think about your own level of reciprocity in those friendships. Are you reciprocating? Do you need more reciprocity? What's going on there? Because I really believe that our friendships are really what's going to help us stay sane through all of this. And as little energy as we have, we've got to tend to them. And meanwhile, Matt and Lyle are having like a total side conversation on something to do with Bitcoin, possibly. And then the other call to action is to think about your relationship and specifically your friendship with God today, in every moment. Go back to Fran's coffee. I was reading through the comments and I didn't get to watch it all yet, but I just saw some of the comments were so life-giving and talking about prayer and talking about like moment to moment. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be. It just has to happen. And so think about your friendship with God. What do you need to, how do you need to posture yourself and set up your life so that you have access to that friendship? And maybe it's as simple as like right over here for me, like here's my little sub pod I'm trying to learn how to do, but gosh, it's causing me to have this like discipline where twice a day I'm checking in on it, and it's giving me this this time to like have friendship with God. Like, I want to call it friendship and not just like presence. It's really interesting. And so it doesn't have to be like something like formal. Just what is it for you? So think about your friendship, your friendships in life. Think about your friendship with the divine, and think about reciprocity today. And I'm going to do the same thing. And I hope you guys have great days, a great day, and I hope this made sense. I'll talk to you later.